Throughout the day, it rained at Shuelan Middle School. Numerous parents stood outside the school with umbrellas, each with an expression of anticipation on their face. Today was the most important day for their children. Their future depended on this exam. They could either enroll in a middle school for magic or a good university of magic. Yes, you read that right. A middle school for magic. Society respected only power, and power meant magic. All children were required to attend a magic education school for 9 years, where they would learn the basics of magic theory and life skills. At the end of their education, they must pass the final exam to determine if they would be admitted to the middle school for magic and become wizards. The rain continued to drizzle outside, spreading a soft osmanthus fragrance. The bell rang, and the examinees rushed out into the courtyard, where many gathered together to discuss questions and answers. Hey, Mewbai, how did you answer the question about the 7 primary elements of magic: ice, fire, earth, water, wind, light, and thunder? Asked a boy with a bow tie. As always, perfectly, Mewbai replied, a tall, handsome boy with magnificent hair. As expected from a student like you. Answering the most difficult question in the exam. Hey, isn't that Mo Fan who got 6 points in the mock exam? Said Zhao Kun-san, a boy with a scarred face. Mewbai looked at Mo Fan with contempt, who walked alone and said, this guy is just like his father, poor, with an old broken pickup truck. Isn't he your family's servant, Mew? Har har har. The 3 students spoke boldly, unafraid of Mo Fan, who walked alongside and heard everything. Laughing enough, the students left the school, boasting that they would enroll in the middle school for magic. Holding a black umbrella, Mo Fan walked out of the school gates. When he turned to say goodbye to the school campus, unpleasant words about his father came to his mind. Mo Fan was not from this world. In his world, he was a genius, but he received bad grades on mock exams. In his opinion, mock tests were meaningless. If you were a student, there was no point in wasting your time on grading tests. Initially, Mo Fan planned to be serious only for the final exam to become the first and wipe the floor with Mewbai when he transferred to the best school in the city. But who could have predicted what happened next? He, as the best student, fell asleep in class and suddenly teleported to another world. People he knows, students, teachers, his father, and sister haven't changed, but the rest of the world. The development of science in this world has turned into the study of magic. The fields of physics and chemistry have turned into black, white, and temporal magic. The entire field of research depends on 7 elements: ice, earth, water, fire, wind, light, and thunder. Everything he knows has changed so much. He has no idea about magic, and the knowledge he has from his world is useless here. Everyone else is already prepared for the exam, but he will have to spend a lot of time on it. Mo Fan knows nothing about the basics of magic theory. Now, he is not the one who pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger. He has become a pig because he knows absolutely nothing. His only good news is that the first 9 years are based on theoretical knowledge, and the real potential is revealed after they attend magical schools. The most important step for a real wizard is the magical awakening. Magical awakening usually occurs during the opening ceremony of the magical school, where teachers become witnesses. At this moment, whether you have knowledge or not, it just happens inside a person. Mo Fan really likes the idea of magic. He feels like he has been reborn in his ideal world from his fantasies. He also dreamed of becoming a supreme wizard, wielding fire and thunder to save the world with his own powers. But contrary to his expectations, he faced the final graduation exam, which was very difficult. Even with his constant efforts before the exams, he was able to understand only a few magical theories by reading many exam questions. Even if he doesn't understand everything, he is satisfied with this. Mo Fan, Mo Fan. A middle-aged man stood among the crowd and waved to Mo Fan. The boy looked at the familiar face with surprise and exclaimed, Dad, why are you here? I came for you. After all, this is your graduation exam. I found us a job in the city. Wenfeng is ready to hire us. After working for him, we can earn 4,000 to 5,000 a month. Mo Sin said with a smile. The world has changed, but his father's love remained the same. Unlike the job Mo Sin talked about, Mo Fan will surprise him with his news, but he must accept the harsh reality. Currently, he doesn't want to and won't fall down. Cars, mobile phones, computers, refrigerators, all of these haven't changed. But if you don't possess magic, then you're just. No, I really want to learn, Mo Fan replied. Are your grades okay? Mo Shin asked. No, the boy replied. Well, that's not a problem. As the saying goes, magic is the most valuable thing in the world. and we all must practice it. But there's another saying, no matter what you aspire to, you must achieve greatness in it. Motion decided to comfort his son in this way. While the boy listened to his father, he unconsciously bit his lips. Many of the knowledge he possessed were transformed, but Mo-fan didn't know to what extent. For example, if he said in this world that the creator of the light element was Thomas Edison, he would be a fool. Motion patted his son's shoulder when he finished speaking. He noticed that his son wasn't listening to him, he was lost in thought. Knowing his son, he stopped smiling and asked, "Are you serious?" "Yes, I want to awaken, even if I regret it later. I really want to go to a good school and become a midge," Mo-fan said sincerely. He just needed one change. Motion was silent, but he could see that his son was serious. Mo-fan was also silent. "Do you really want to do this?" he asked for confirmation. "Yes," Mo-fan answered without hesitation. Mo-fan initially thought it was just a dream he saw. But it wasn't a dream. "Well, I'll find a way," Motion began to ponder. "Dad, I'm going to work part-time in the library of the Tianlan School of Magic during the summer break. I'll be a librarian. The job starts the day after tomorrow," Mo-fan said. Since he had decided to study magic, he was going to give it his all. Whether he could go to a magic school or not would depend on his father's abilities and his own knowledge. Knowing exactly what he needed for success, he decided to work as a librarian in that school. The job doesn't pay much, but that's not important. What matters are the knowledge he will be able to find in that library. Fortunately, he's a genius, so he will quickly understand everything. But with the current level of magical knowledge, he feels intellectually inferior. Motion was happy that his son decided to study magic to become better, as only magicians can boast status. They could have their own business, car. Even a simple graduate of a magic school has more respect than any other citizen. "Don't worry, Dad will do everything to help you," nodded Motion, not knowing what else to say. In the middle of the mountain is a residential area, and if you follow the road, you can get to Mo-fan's house. Near the mountain ridge stands a one-story house with peeling paint, unprotected among other houses. Many houses have been repaired and extended to 3 floors, and they looked much better than Mo-fan's one-story house. Mo-fan GE, note, GE is a polite form of address for older people, DI is for younger people. "You're back. I have good news that will make you smile," said the teenager, who jumped out like a monkey in front of Mo-fan with a happy smile when Fan approached the house. "What's the good news?" Mo-fan asked. "The little princess just came back. I saw her when I passed by the mountain gate. You don't know how beautiful she has become, like a little angel," excitedly said Jang-hoo. Mo-fan looked at the villa in the residential area across the street. The villa was beautiful, and many would be envious. Every inch of the garden was decorated to look like a real little forest. The beautiful villa's garden was surrounded by high fences. As he reminisced about his childhood, he remembered that there was no fence, and he often brought other children to play near the villa. The residence has several villas built in the best European style. In the eyes of children, such a villa resembles a fairy tale castle, where a princess lives, who makes people hold their breath from her beauty. In childhood, Mo-fan played with such a princess, as if kidnapping her from the castle to play with other children. Mo-fan couldn't remember when the slow encroachment of fences and gardens began, and when the adults started forbidding them from playing together. Back then, she was a fake princess, everything was just a game, but now she had become a real one, growing further apart from Mo-fan and having less and less contact with him. "You know, I heard that the little princess is now a trump card of the prestigious Imperial Magic School. She's only 15 years old, but she can control ice magic," Jang-hoo whispered. Mo-fan froze in shock, struck and amazed by what he had heard. If someone had told him she won an Olympics, he would have believed it, but to become an ice mage at her age was truly incredible. Most people only awaken their magic at 16 and learn the basics. After awakening their magic, students learn their first spells, but it doesn't mean they have become mags. They must go through a long process of cultivation, buy magical books, and train diligently. Yet this girl already possessed magic at the age of 15. Are children like her called prodigies? Prodigies of magic? Mo-fan GE, it's a shame you didn't keep track of the little princess. Other people could take her away, leaving us to die of envy, Jang-hoo said, raising his eyebrows. "You talk too much," Mo-fan said, ignoring him. Motion coughed, standing to the side and hearing their conversation. He called Mo-fan home. When they entered the house, their father left again, telling his son, "I'll be gone for a while. Xia is here today, I don't think Auntie will come." "Okay, Dad, I understand." Motion left the house, hurrying along the fence towards a familiar villa. Mo Fan thought about what else had changed. However, his poor family's situation had not changed, nor had the rich family living in that very villa. God has changed the world around me, but not my family's situation. At least one more good news is that I'm still the same, my appearance hasn't changed, and I still receive romantic looks from girls. Sitting at home with nothing to do, he started to look around, hoping to see something different. He saw a few people passing by and, looking closer, he noticed his father's old pickup truck. His father used to work as a personal driver for the villa's resident, but he was later transferred to a low-paying job where he mostly helped people in the villa buy things in the city or return items. Since then, life had become worse. Jiashin, you're asking for too much. I've never treated your family poorly, but your son has caused such a big problem. I'm helping you with work, but if it were someone else, I would have fired him by now, the middle-aged man slowly said. Mu Hee, I promise this is the last time I'll ask for your help. Tianlan Magic High School is asking for too much money this year, and I can't afford it with my finances, Motion said humbly. Why are you doing so much for your useless son? He failed the exam, but is already 16. He can earn money himself. If I help you this time to get him into magic school, with his qualifications, he won't be able to awaken magic and won't become a magician. Becoming a real magician is not easy. It's not enough to rely on raw talent. You need to make efforts, buy books and equipment, and your family can't afford it. Without all this, he won't even be able to learn a simple spell, let alone become a magician. He said seriously, but for Mo Fania, these words seemed arrogant. He really wants to learn everything. Mu Hee, if you help us, when Master Mu tells us to leave, we'll leave. I'll make sure we're far enough away, and I can personally ensure that Mo Fan won't be near Mu Ning Xiu, Motion exclaimed. Oh, I'll take that into consideration. Mu He became interested in the resettlement of this family from the Mu residence. A teenager, with his ear pressed against the wall, was bewildered as he overheard the conversation. He had hoped that since the world had changed, the horrible family relationships would have changed too, but that wasn't the case. Just like the Mu family was wealthy and noble, his father struggled in the lower strata of society, begging for help from everyone. This Mu He was the chairman of the Tianlan Magical School. In fact, as long as he kept his word, the boy could be accepted into the Tianlan school. Upon hearing that his father had agreed to leave the Mu family's residence, the boy sighed heavily and accepted the news. His father, Motion, continued to thank Mu He, who got into his luxurious car and drove away, raising dust. What kind of dream was this? The cruel reality engulfed Mo Fania, as he leaned against the wall, breathing heavily, and realized that his family's situation might not change at all. There was no difference between these two worlds. In the olden days, large families had a huge inheritance and a long history, just like now. Even though they don't call the lower class slaves, they are still workers, and their fate is still not enviable. The rich still manipulate their destinies. He was born with such a low status, influenced by the Mu family. With a surge in his heart, the boy clenched his fist tightly and struck the wall. You, the Mu family, mocked and used me, belittling me. When I rise, I will pay back this humiliation tenfold, no, 100-fold. Mo Fan returned home, pondering Mu his words. It seemed that he was serious about the boy's family. I won't even be able to complete a simple exercise. Oh, just wait. Mo Fan acknowledged that he had been close to little Princess Mu Ning in the past, but he never thought it would bring misfortune to his family. Since then, Mo Fan realized that even in this world filled with magic, social status determines your life. Mo Fan, har, I did it. I called my friend, he's a damn amazing guy. He's the chairman of the Tianlan school and said he'll make an exception for you. But you have to promise to train hard after awakening your magic. This opportunity only comes once in a lifetime. You have to work hard, said Motion, smiling and patting Mo Fan on the shoulder. Mo Fan knew that his father would be drinking wine to celebrate his success. However, knowing how hard he had worked to achieve it, Mo Fan didn't dare to offend his father and supported him. Really? That's great news. What else could I expect from my father? You can do anything. Mo Fan smiled and hugged his father. And who do you think your father is? Said Motion, smiling even wider. As they drank their drinks, Motion said, Mo Fan, you'll have to stay in the school dormitory, I'll rent out the house to earn more money. Mo Fan knew that his father would actually sell Mu his house, but even that piece of land was worth a lot. Okay, I won't be here often, but what about Xia? Mo Fan pretended not to know anything. Xia will live with her aunt. To be honest, I don't think two boys can take care of her properly. Xia is a very intelligent girl, we don't need to worry about her. Mo Shan insisted. Okay, but don't forget to visit me at school. Mo Fan said. I know, I feel sleepy, and you have to go to the library tomorrow, don't you? Mo Shan finished his rice wine and staggered to his feet. Mo Fan turned to escort his father out and realized something. He would be in the dormitory, Xia would stay with her aunt, but where would the old man sleep? But in the end, Mo Fan didn't ask. Mo Shan was ready to make this sacrifice for Mo Fan and his duty as a father. He wanted his son to not worry about anything and study diligently, focusing only on his education. I will be able to help you, he said. Mo Fan, knowing what Mo Shan was doing for him, felt ashamed and sad. He had an incredibly amazing father. Mo Fan couldn't say that other people might look down on his father, but he respected him and would continue to do so. This small, broken-down house was not suitable for living. He would have to wait 3 years to use his magical powers to obtain everything he desired. This society respects and reveres only magic. And I will become an unbeatable and unstoppable master of magic. Summer vacation flew by quickly. During this time, Mo Fan felt buried under books. Regardless of the books available in Tianlan, there were many complex books on magical and scientific theories. The knowledge these books could offer was truly boundless. Even with such a short period of time, Mo Fan benefited greatly. At the very least, he was no longer illiterate in magic. He had completed the 9 years of compulsory education. At the very least, he understood more than all the students who spent 9 years studying it. The 1st of September, the first day of school, was the most important day for students, as they would now learn which element would awaken in them and what they would be studying. To awaken magic, the student must calm down and be in a state of rest until the magic awakens. Hey, little brat, I wish you luck. It's best if you awaken the fire element, it's the best element for any student. Compared to other elements, it's preferable in battle. Rare earth or wind are also good, said the old librarian. Mo Fan listened silently, feeling like the librarian could talk forever. To be honest, Mo Fan couldn't fall asleep last night. His life is not just changing, as it would in his world. He had never tried to awaken magic before because it did not exist in his world. Now he will go and take advantage of this opportunity. He could hear how fast his heart was beating. Mo Fan was placed in classroom 8 as student number 48. There was nothing he could do about it. In fact, he sneaked into the school through the back door, passing under the registration desk. The higher the number in the class, the higher the student's score on the final exam. The school believes that this encourages them, hoping they will achieve much by quickly understanding the subject matter. Unfortunately, Mubai sat under number 1 in the 8th grade. Mubai is part of the Mu family, and despite not being from the main family, he still looks down on Mo Fan and treats him as a servant, as he is referred to as young master in the Mu estate. However, this boy is far from Mu Nin Xiu, the little princess that Mubai wants to conquer. She doesn't even look at him. Mubai did well on the exam because he must be one of those who deserves attention and training in the Mu family. If he awakens the power of ice, like many in the Mu estate, his cultivation will be rapid, as the Mu family has many essential resources. Students, I welcome you to the School of Magic. For many of you, this is a very exciting day, but before the main event, I wanted to say something. On the schoolyard, 1,500 students lined up in 20 classes, looking spectacular. Students, do you know what it means to be a wizard? Never forget that no matter what kind of magic you have and what kind of wizard you are, we exist to make our humanity thrive. It is our duty, our sacred mission, and you must not forget it. Despite being safe, there are many magical creatures hiding beyond the city walls. Many had been waiting for this moment, and finally, the headmaster had moved on to an important part. Well, today you begin to awaken your magic, and I hope that in the future, you will become rising stars in the world of magic. When the headmaster finished speaking, no one could hide their joy. Who wouldn't want to wield fire and destroy their enemies? Who wouldn't want to wield ice and freeze their enemies? Who wouldn't want to wield the wind and fly through the world? Who wouldn't want to possess all of this? Countless stories, videos, and movies talk about heroes as they fight, calling on their followers to follow their example. Today, they would take the first step on the path of magic. Would they kill beasts to protect the city, or would they rule over the city? All 20 classes would be supervised by their homeroom teacher to help them through this awakening. Mo Fan, being the last in his class, would be the last in line for the magic awakening. The homeroom teacher in charge of Mo Fan's class, Wu Shen, would personally oversee their awakening, and all that was left for the students was to wait until they were called and place their hand on the awakening stone to awaken their magic. Hey, idiot, people like you who took the back door probably won't awaken. Trash like you shouldn't waste the stone's energy, said Zhao Kun-san, a former classmate of Mo Fan's. Mubai doesn't think Mo Fan is worthy even to talk to him, so he sent Zhao Kun-san instead. When Zhao mentioned the non-passers who couldn't awaken the magic, Mo Fan became worried. He crossed over into this world, his physiology might be different. What if he really only made himself look like a big laughing stock? Mo Fan Ji, just ignore him, bring out the magic of fire and show that dog his place, said Zhang Hu, who was in the same class as Fan. Mo Fan did not respond to the insult. On another day, he might have returned Zhao's words, but today Fan was very nervous. For reasons unknown, the black pendant he wore without taking it off trembled. He had received this pendant as a child, from the guard who guarded the back gate of his old school. He hadn't taken it off since. He suspected that this broken pendant was the reason he had moved to this world, but he continued to wear it anyway. Ever since this morning, that pendant has been shaking non-stop. That damn pendant. Shake it off, it's only a pendant. Mubai, Xu Muxing announced. It's Mubai. He's first in the class, isn't he? Yes, I saw him today before the assembly. What element do you think he will evoke? I hope it won't be trashy elements like water and light. Mubai stepped over the line, hearing the girls' cheers draw the attention of the girls from the other schools to him. Mubai pretended not to care and calmly, with a modest but confident smile on his face, approached the teacher. Deep down, however, he enjoyed the attention. Mubai, are you of the Mu family, which is well known for its ice magic? Asked Xu Muxing. Yes. Great, I think if you awaken the ice element in you, but you will get many advantages, but don't forget to work on yourself, the talent does not develop by itself. The teacher said. Mubai nodded his head at the teacher's words, but inside he protested, of course talent doesn't come out of nothing, but without the right resources you are still garbage. With the teacher's permission, Mubai slowly approached the awakening stone. The stone took the shape of a compass with a palm tree pattern as Mubai approached it. Mubai was a little nervous as he raised his hand. Being born into the Mu family, there is a good chance that he will have the element of ice, but there are times when a student will have the element of water or light. If this happens, the family will probably not recognize his status, they are not going to waste money on a useless element. Still, he put his right hand on the stone. The stone flashed, slowly but surely creating a magical seal on Mubai's hand, interpreting itself as if it were part of a vein on his arm. The rest of the classmates stood on their tiptoes, looking at Mubai, who was the first to awaken his magic. Mubai stood unmoving, solemnly but slowly raising his head. Tilder creak, 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 a small swirl of frosty air appeared over the stone. As the air grew thicker and colder, it became clearer what the awakened element was. The ice element, it really is the ice element, shouted one of the girls near Mubai. Mubai heard the voices and opened his eyes, abiding in joy. It really is the ice element as a trademark of the Mu family. Being in the Mu family with this element, in a few days, when he grows strong enough, he will be able to crush Mo Fan like an ant. Plus, he will have the opportunity to cultivate with Mu Ning Xiu if he wants to go far. Very good, very pure ice element. I think that by cultivating harder, you can achieve extraordinary heights, praised his teacher. Being able to awaken such pure ice shows that this student with a promising future whose magic power is above average. Next, Xiu Ying. The girl stepped confidently toward the stone. Okay, Earth Element, your power is quite great. Everything will depend on your efforts. Next, Zhu Qingling. The Ice Element. Mo Fan tried to look at what her ice element looked like, but he only saw a light frost, no whirlwind like Mu Bai's did. Even between the same elements there is a difference in strength. Qingling is clearly weaker than Mu Bai. Next, Lu Xiaobing. A. The Water Element. My goodness, why do I have the water element? I should have had the fire element, shouted Lu loudly. He could be heard even within 100 meters radius. Don't feel bad, depending on how you train, your strength will also depend. Once you reach the average level, you will become an outstanding mage, Mu Xing reassured the student, looking on sympathetically. There was nothing Lu could do about it, so he simply returned to his seat. Actually, the awakened element is very important. If martial magic appears, the student will have more opportunities to train and become more successful. The water element, even a simple shield spell is not stronger than earth magic. There are no obvious effects from using it, at least within the level of an elemental mage. Next, Zhang Hu. A man who looked like a monkey stood not far from Mo Fan and said, Mo Fan Ji, I'll be the first. HMPH, I hope you have the water element, remarked Zhao Kun-san wryly. Zhang Hu put his hand on the stone and soon after, the wind fluttered the teacher's clothes. Good, wind element, great talent. Don't be lazy and practice hard, the teacher spoke in a satisfied tone. Xiu Muxing was happy. Among the 10 people in his class, there are already 2 very gifted students. If they cultivate well, they can definitely enter a good magical university. The 8th grade class seems to have every chance of being the best class this year. Next, tilde poof tilde flames of orange popped out of the awakening stone. The entire class looked at the man with the fire magic. Fire. Fire element. My god, that girl, who is she? At this point, this girl was the topic of discussion among the class. With such a screaming element that everyone wants, she will become popular. Unfortunately, compared to the other elements, the chance of awakening the element of fire is very low. At best, there will be 3 students in one class, which is 10% of the class. Her name is Ju Min, she seems to be the daughter of one of the teachers, whispered one of the girls. She's quite pretty, maybe make friends with her. Are you out of your mind? She may seem nice and quiet, but she's actually very cruel. Otherwise, how could she bring out the element of fire? Makes sense. As one would expect from his daughter, Teacher Wenhua will be very happy, Xu Xingmu said. Thank you, teacher. Next. Wind element. Next, the element of light. Master, I'm going to the roof. No, don't stop me, said the student who had awakened the weak element. Next. The water element. Hey kid, with the element of light, I'll go to the roof with you. Next. Finally, after almost the entire class had awakened their magic, it was Mo Fan's turn. Among all the students, there was no more nervous student than Mo Fan. After all, he had only been studying magic for 3 months, it seemed that his awakening was not going to happen. Number 48, Mo Fan. Your turn, said Zhang Hu. Stop hoping for the impossible, you're hopeless. Even if you are lucky enough to awaken something, it will be some weak magic with which you won't even reach the average level. You'll just get kicked out of school. Zhao Kun-san said sarcastically. Will you shut your doggy mouth already, growled Zhang Hu angrily. Zhang Hu thought of Mo Fang as his big brother. There was no way he would believe that he could not have a gift or that he was inferior to others. 9 years of compulsory training is the foundation for future cultivation. Even if a student can evoke magic, he will not be able to progress. Mo Fan took a couple of small steps, walking through the crowd of students. That's him. The guy who came in through the back door. Who's that? "He's quite handsome?" asked the little girl dreamily. "He's one of the students who failed the exam," said a girl with a big mouth, trimmed to look like a mushroom. "That's right. His magic might be weak. Whether or not he can evoke magic is the question. Hey, water and light element guys, don't despair, maybe you'll cheer up when you see his score, he only scored 1 on the exam," Zhao Kun-san said, mockingly. When the students with the elements of water and light heard this, their eyes went wide, realizing that they could be better than him. "Stop making noise," the teacher said, looking at Zhao. Newby smirked, seeing Mo Fan's failure in his thoughts. This lower-level student, how can he communicate with Mu Ning Xiu? She should be looking at me. I am handsome and far more talented than this poor man. Mu Ning Xiu should communicate with people like me. Hey, trash, I heard that you sold your house to get a chance to awaken your magic. If that doesn't happen, you should jump into the river, maybe that will wash away such shame, said Newby quietly, so that only Mo Fan could hear him. Mo Fan, hearing this, silently cursed Newby as he approached the teacher. "Mo Fan, put your hand on the stone," said Xu Muxing quietly. As a teacher, Xu Muxing understood the student's circumstances perfectly. He got the lowest score on the exam, he barely got that chance to wake up. The teacher, knowing his family, understood that this family had no special talents. A terrible grade on the exam, abandoned by the class, it is all a headache for him as well, the boy could pull the class down. Nothing can be done. It's just my bad luck. I hope this kid doesn't fail with his awakening. Otherwise the class will be a laughingstock for the whole year. Mo Fan, being extremely nervous, could not stop shaking, raising his hand to the rock. "Calm down. Stop shaking," Xu Muxing warned him. With his left hand, Mo Fan intercepted his right hand and placed it on the rock. Cold goosebumps ran down Mo Fan's back, he didn't know what was going on, but there was no sign of ice. "What? Why isn't anything happening?" "Close your eyes, feel your spiritual world," instructed the boy's teacher. The student's problem was that no one had familiarized him with the process earlier. Mo Fan hastily closed his eyes. When one closes their eyes, one imagines their inner world as an empty space, while their mind wanders, some see a starry sky, but, mostly emptiness. Mo Fan felt nothing in his spirit world. He felt a rush of energy passing through his hand to the stone. A small surge of energy flowed through his palm into the awakening stone. But suddenly, violet lightning bolts were projected in his mind, traveling down the passage in his hand to the stone. Something incomparable and shocking. In the emptiness of his spirit world he saw jets of bright light, he focused on them and discovered a cluster of stars. He felt happy. The existence of stars in the spirit world is very important to the magician, the more of them, the stronger the magician. This cluster was very small compared to the spirit world, but there was light shining through it. Regardless of whether the light was weak or strong, it meant that Mo Fan would succeed in awakening magic. Har har har, who says I can't succeed? Does it look like I failed? The boy wanted to turn back and look at the expressions on Newby and Zhao Kun-san's faces. Anyway, I need to see the color of my star. Red represents the element of fire. Green represents the element of wind. Brown represents the earth element. Blue represents the element of water. Gold represents the element of light. Purple represents... My God! Mo Fan was amazed. Purple. I really do have a purple star. My God! Someone has awakened the lightning element, exclaimed one of the students about the courtyard. What? What? The lightning element? I'd trade my life for that kind of luck. Where? It's amazing. Such a bright purple light. The 8th grade class teacher must be very shocked. Ew, well why do I have the water element, why not lightning? No one's going to stop me, I'm going to the roof. Don't bother yourself with jumping, there are more people with the light element near you. That lightning element shocked the whole school. One student with the element of lightning is more than enough to cause a storm of emotion throughout the school. If the element of fire is what everyone wants, then the element of lightning is something they wouldn't dare dream of. This element is much more powerful and effective in battle than fire. Some teachers have done statistics on students with the element of lightning. Besides the students who neglected their gift, the statistics showed that half of the lightning elementals became successful mid-level mags. Compared to the rest, only 40% of the students become successful mags. Out of 1,500 students, only one person has the elemental of lightning, which shows how rare this magic is. All the students looked at the 8th grade boy who had awakened the lightning element. Hey, why is it so noisy in here? Mo-fan slowly opened his eyes, which were blazing with joy. However, when he opened his eyes, he saw that everyone, even their class teacher, was looking the other way. What's going on? Where are you all looking? Soon after, Mo-fan found the object of everyone's attention. A student from the neighboring class woke up lightning a little faster than himself, and all the students turned their attention to him. Mo-fan looked bitterly at his awakened magic. With the same flashing lightning, he felt as if he had been slapped in the face. He looked at that student with envy. I too have awakened this rare element of lightning. Mo-fan was about to tell those around him, as the stone under his hand glowed again, and another ray of light was added to his inner world. Mo-fan was very surprised by this. Could there be another awakening? Why is this happening again? Mo-fan tried to remove his hand, but the scalding magical rays of light had already gone through his body. Mo-fan didn't know what was happening to him, but something made him concentrate on magic again. In the emptiness of the spirit world, the purple stars shone faintly, as if they couldn't wait to shine again. When he felt that the lightning element had awakened, another ray of light swept through his spirit world like a meteor. Mo-fan was stunned. Another star appeared in his spiritual world. A red star. Mo-fan was shocked, but soon smiled happily. The fire element. I have awakened the element of fire. I was able to awaken 2 elements. As a rule, only one element appears when awakened. The probability of another element being awakened is almost 0. This event is rarer than the appearance of a lightning element. Mo-fan was ready to faint with delight. He had never expected anything like this. Now, with his extra element, he could even cry with happiness. Mo-fan clearly understood that by having the second element he prevailed over other people. Regardless of his level of knowledge and cultivation, he already has a lot more advantages. It's like if you got 2 skills in an online game, when the others only got 1. You will develop to become stronger. This will increase your combat ability. All this humiliation and bullying of his father and family made Mo-fan realize that he had to train harder in order to pay off and be at the right level. The fact that the Mew family has his heritage and ice elementals is no match for his mastery of the 2 elements. It is almost impossible to awaken the 2 elements. Seriously? Why isn't this student learning from me? Teacher Zhang Jiangyo has recruited good students for himself. Xiu Muxing said enviously. Mubai was surprised and shifted his condescending gaze to the student who had awakened the lightning element. The element of lightning is amazing, but if no one knows how to develop it, it is useless. If he decides to get in my way, I can put him down. Oh, I almost forgot that trash. Mo-fan is now awakening, he must have failed. Wow, another one with the element of fire. Amazing, there's another student with fire magic in our class. Who says he's failing? He has awakened the element of fire, I am so jealous. The light illuminated room began to fade, and the children could see Mo-fan and his awakened element. The girl who had awakened the fire element earlier was surprised when she took a closer look at the flame. It was certainly stronger than her flames when she awakened her magic. There's another fire elemental in class 8. Although fire is not as rare an elemental as lightning, it is quite powerful. Fire. The element of fire, said Muxing with a certain slowness. The element of lightning in the student from the next class made him forget about his problem student, he thought. I thought he couldn't manage to awaken the magic. But he awakened such a powerful element. That's definitely the trump card of the class. If you look closely, his strength is more powerful than Ju Min's. Xiu Muxing really didn't expect this student to be able to raise their class. Yes. Very good. What's the name? Oh, right, Mo Fan, mouthed Xiu Muxing quickly, squinting with pleasure. Yes, nodded Mo Fan. Mo Fan thought that even if someone had seen his lightning, he would have thought it was an echo of magic from a nearby class. Perhaps it was because the event was shocking to the school, or maybe Fan's magic wasn't strong enough to blaze brightly. The flame gets stronger depending on the development. But even if the magic is weak, it can be developed and becomes more powerful. Initial knowledge is not the deciding factor. The element of fire, you should put more effort in the future. If you have any questions, go to your teacher and ask, said Muxing, patting Mo Fan on the shoulder. Joy settled in Mo Fan's heart. Nevertheless, Mo Fan did not allow himself to open up and say that he had awakened the lightning element, or as it might be called, the thunder element. If it were any other teenager in his place, he would probably brag. Mo Fan didn't want to draw attention to himself and become the subject of everyone's envy. Mo Fan knows that the Mu family is hostile to his family, so now that he has awakened the two elements, he wants to lay low because he is weak. It is better to gain strength and develop his abilities. Mo Fan looked at the twisted faces of Mu Bai and Zhao Kun-san. This is what he wanted. That brat, how come he didn't not only fail the awakening, but he also awakened the element of fire, said Mu Bai, cursing the boy quietly. What the hell, how is that possible? It's the fire element, muttered Zhao, staring stupidly at the stone. Har har. Like I said, Mo Fanji, it was certainly extraordinary. Simply amazing. Zhao Kun-san bit it out, Zhang Hu gibbered, bouncing excitedly. The mentor's face became frowny, as if the boy had broken a rule. Zhao Kun-san glared angrily at the boy, thinking about his wind element, which would definitely lose to the fire element. Mo Fan smiled as he turned around, making the girls squeal with delight, and he felt a lightness in his soul. Mo Fan walked past Mu Bai, calmly showing him the middle finger. This lasted about a second, as if they were saying hello or goodbye. Mu Bai was outraged by this action, barely restraining himself from responding to the provocation. He took a deep breath and ordered himself to calm down, maintaining his image so as not to stoop to Mo Fan's level. After all, he is the young master of the Mu family, and Mo Fan is the son of a commoner. This trash, even if he has awakened the element of fire, he is still trash. What annoys me more is that this guy with the lightning element has drawn all the attention to himself, not like my ice. Damn, cussed Mu Bai. Mo Fan returned to his seat and felt the looks in his direction change slightly. He has a fiery element, we shouldn't try to provoke this guy. I'm not going to provoke him. I want to be friends with him. I've awakened the element of light, and if I get bullied, I can count on his support as a big brother. That's right, his name is Mo Fan, isn't it? Mo Fan heard the other students, but his gaze was fixed on Mu Bai, who was smiling even though he also heard the students talking. Mo Fan knew what kind of man this Mu Bai was. So was the fact that he was now hiding his anger and envy under that fake smile. When Mo Fan awakened the fire element, Mu Bai was already turning green with envy. I wonder what will happen when he finds out that Mo Fan also has control over the element of lightning. Will he kill himself? Summer passed quickly, autumn leaves falling on the schoolyard. Somewhere in the schoolyard, the sun was shedding interesting patterns through the gaps in the trees. Time flies very fast. 2 months have passed since the talent awakening. On the first day, teacher Xiu Muxing told the students about the most important thing, how to create magic. This simple process didn't take long. There are only 3 steps. The first step, spiritual meditation. The second step, establish control. Step 3, create magic. Spiritual magic requires total concentration. When people close their eyes, many thoughts run through their heads. If one is distracted by various unnecessary thoughts, one can easily become confused. As for those who have been able to awaken magic, they should find themselves in their spiritual world and not waste their energy on empty thoughts. When Mo Fan closed his eyes, he did not let his thoughts distract him. He saw again the place where his two stars are. Lightning and fire. The colors of the lightning stars are like the colors of the galaxy, beautiful, colorful, and enchanting. Around this large star revolved 7 small ones, like naughty children, energetic and lively. When all the students can quietly observe their stars within themselves, then the first step, spiritual meditation, is complete. Although this step is simple, all the students repeated it every day as homework. They would start meditating in the afternoon. When they were tired, they would go to bed. The next day, after class, they would meditate again until they were tired. And so every day. Mo Fan was diligent in his cultivation. For 2 months, including weekends, he meditated. Many times he wanted to ask his teacher, why do they have to repeat this step for so long? Maybe I can establish control, thought Mo Fan, feeling quite experienced in spiritual meditation. He wanted to try out the next step. The second step is actually very simple. After spiritual meditation, everyone sees a star inside themselves and 7 smaller ones that are spinning haphazardly around. Establishing control is to consciously control these stars so that they stop where you want them to or make them move in a certain direction. When they successfully pass the second step, only then can the magicians try to summon their magic. Okay, come on, let Daddy touch himself, Mo Fan spoke softly, trying to connect with his stars. Using his mind, Mo Fan tried to control the 7 stars. Wanted to make at least one stop moving. The little star was indifferent to Mo Fan, ignoring his exertions and running away from him. Damn it! Naughty! Okay, well. I'll just try with the other one. Mo Fan reached for the second star. Daddy here, be a good star and listen to me. The second star also, like the first, quickly escaped from him and his control. Mo Fan tried to repeat the same thing with the other stars, but the result was the same. They began to move faster. Until the stars became obedient, continuing to move chaotically, he would not be able to summon his magic. Using a specific path for the stars to follow, the mage must get them to move coherently so that the accumulated energy would flow to the mage for use. Unfortunately for Mo Fan, he was unable to control any of the stars. One might as well not try yet. These stars seemed to sense that they wanted to be subdued and run away. How am I supposed to do that? How many months or years will it take me before I can create even a small burst of energy, thought the boy. The first defense skill in lightning is lightning strike. Of all the skills, it is the defense skill that is the most outstanding, especially for combat. Unfortunately, it's not easy to learn these skills. The little stars orbiting the big one are too fast. You can't establish control in a day or 2. It will take longer. I have a long way to go if I want to control all the stars. The weather was getting colder, and students were wearing warm clothes instead of their usual fall clothes. The winter season was approaching. Damn! I must study harder. If I succeed, with my fire element, I'll survive the winter quietly, thought Mo Fan sitting on the roof early in the morning, practicing. It had been about a month since his last practice. Mo Fan was only able to control 4 stars. The process of establishing control is like building dominoes. In other words, you have to build all 4 stars carefully, or they will collapse all over and you have to start over. Slowly and slowly, so the chance that everything will go well will be higher. Also happens with all the stars, they resist, behave unpredictably, which complicates the process and takes a long time. You have to concentrate and do your best. You can't even pay attention to the headache that appears after all these machinations, because it detracts from concentration. Clenching his teeth, Mo Fan tried to control the 4 stars to move them to another place. Each time he would have to start with the first in order to build all 7 correctly. After the first, spend effort on the second and beyond. If he is careless and concentrates too hard or too weak, he will start over again. The teachers said that the second step is the most difficult of the 3, for not only do you have to control the stars, but also their destructive spiritual power. After each such workout, which Mo Fan goes through every day for the best effect, he feels exhausted and tired, and he begins to get headaches. After the workout, he does not always find the energy for spiritual meditation. This establishing of control eats up all his energy. With Mo Fan's current level of cultivation, he can't spend more than 2 hours a day practicing. The fourth little star is now completely under my control. I must try my best and take control of the fifth. It's hard. I wonder if I can get control of all of them by the end of the semester. Someone said that most students spend an hour a day practicing, and not always. I, on the other hand, practice for 2 hours. Could it be because I awaken 2 elements? Mo Fan asked himself. The power needed to control the stars depends on the main star, and I have 2. That's probably why I'm a little different from them. Nevertheless, with a 1-hour advantage, Mo Fan's diligence was paying off. Mo Fan surpassed his classmates, even Newby, as one of the boys said, controls only 3 stars. Of all 7, Mo Fan controls 4, he is expected to establish control of the 5th within the next week. A perfect progression of events. I will reach the 7 stars and soon be able to marry the little princess. 8 o'clock in the morning, Mo Fan walks into the office. Zhang Jiangyo is teaching them today. About this apprentice, Zhang Jiangyo was ready to talk all day long, with pride and a smile. This guy controls 4 stars, and I'm already 6, thought Fan to himself as he leisurely made his way to his seat. Open your textbooks to the page on magical beasts. Today I will continue this topic. As we all know, magical beasts live outside of our city and they are very aggressive against humans. Although they fight among themselves as well. So, what will you do if you meet a one-eyed magic wolf in the forest on your way? Asked Zhang Jiangyo. The one-eyed wolf. It is one of the magical beasts that made their nests near human settlements. Mo Fan had only seen them in books and videos, but even so they looked terrifying. Ordinary people cannot do anything against these beasts, only a mage can fight them. Although, if a mage didn't know spells, he was no match for a wolf either. Zhang Jiangyo had already spent a week lecturing about this wolf. Mo Fan was already tired of hearing about it. At this point, Mo Fan has successfully gained control of the 6 thunder stars. He can already calmly organize their orbital formation. The only problem is the 7th star. If you are soft or assertive, she does not listen at all, which alarms Mo Fan. Fan Ji, how's your fire elemental training going? Asked Zhang Hu, sitting behind Mo Fan. As usual, replied Mo Fan vaguely. The element of fire. When Zhang Hu asked this, Fan realized that he did not control a single star of the fire element. It's not very good. I don't think that's your real level. I've heard that Newby controls 4 stars in his ice element. If he trains harder during the winter break, he will surely master the ice wave, said Zhang Hu. I know. Fan Ji, why aren't you worried about it? I know that this villain is probably already plotting his intrigues on you. It's okay, let him come to me if that's what he wants. Mo Fan was only thinking now about how he could establish control of the 7th star, everything else was unimportant. Anyway, you have to be careful. This semester will be over soon, you must train harder next semester. If you can't master your first spell by the end of the 2nd semester, the school might kick you out. With the end of the 1st semester coming up, Mo Fan had a vague feeling that he would soon be able to control the 7th star as well. Damn, this training is harder than I thought. Even praying to the goddess all day long isn't as exhausting, Mo Fan complained to himself as he walked out of school. Mo Fan spent the entire semester without leaving the school complex, spending 10 hours on spiritual meditation and 2 on star control, also wasting time eating and sleeping. At the end of the semester, all students go home after taking their homework. On reflex, Mo Fan was about to take the bus that led to his old house when he remembered that he no longer had that house. He had almost forgotten that his father had sold that house so Fan could study. His father, Mo Xing, probably spends all his time driving and is too busy to think about him. So Mo Fan decided to check on his sister. It had been 6 months since they had last met. He was a little worried about her. We should go straight to the school and pick her up. Mo Fan got on another bus that was going to his sister's high school. Sitting on the bus, Mo Fan began to cultivate, from nothing to do, trying to establish control over the 7th star. Different stars had different personalities, each requiring a different approach. Mo Fan spent several nights trying to connect with the last star, but this star was quite irritable. When he broke out of control, he took more spiritual energy than the others. After breaking with the 7th star, he felt her irritable temper. Fortunately, she hadn't been doing as much damage to Mo Fan lately. And, instead of resisting and getting out of control, sometimes she let herself be controlled. Come on. Do as I want. Mo Fan calmed down and tried again to gain control of the 7th star. The first sprocket was the most obedient, for it was the first to be activated every day. Now it was becoming slow at the mere thought of Fang. The second one resisted a little, but afterwards it moved after the first one. Then the third, the fourth, the fifth. The sixth didn't even resist. Oh yes, now it's just you. Mo Fan concentrated all his strength on the 7th star. The 7th star began to move faster before Mo Fan began to do anything. However, Mo Fan managed to pick it up a little. With a lot of resistance, it slowly approached the other stars. Good star, that's it. Mo Fan, seeing that the 7th star had risen into the ranks, was worried. The other 6 stars are like obedient dogs who will sit still, but the 7th is like a cat that walks by itself, restless and fickle. As long as you're in control, I've got to tame it, the boy gritted his teeth. Slowly, slowly. The 7th star finally settled down, following its orbital trajectory along the other 6. Suddenly, a violet beam swept across the stars like lightning, causing the 7 stars to follow. It was like a meteor circling a star. Now you can cast a spell. Mo Fan was sitting in his black jacket in the back seat of the bus when purple rays appeared around him, covering Fan with power. Lightning strike. I can now use the lightning strike. Mo Fan was very happy and couldn't help but laugh. Arcs of lightning appeared on the boy's right arm, covering his arm like a snake. The lightning was directed toward the bus. Oh my god! Wizard! There's a wizard! Lightning magician! Wait a second. Why do I feel dazed? Shrieks were heard on the bus, an old lunch lady, a grown man coming home from practice, a girl who was playing on her phone and one pervert who was molesting a girl. All looked at Mo Fan in shock. Great, great wizard, I won't do it again, please. I beg you. A middle-aged man bowed his head to the ground in fear, begging Mo Fan for mercy, sniffing his nose. This pervert thought that Fan had seen his pathetic behavior and was therefore enraged. Lightning struck, looked terrifying, everyone on the bus was stunned, especially the bully. He felt like he was paralyzed. I'll take your dog's life. If I see you again, you'll be without both your arms. Mo Fan stood up abruptly and looked threateningly at the molester. Yes, there won't be a next time, I promise it won't happen again. The molester ran out of the bus as soon as it stopped. Aunts and uncles praised Mo Fan. Even some young men looked at him admiringly. Mommy, Big Brother is amazing, can I be like him when I grow up? Asked a 7-year-old boy, tugging his mother's skirt lightly. Not everyone gets a chance to be a wizard. Not to mention the element of lightning. Realizing that his magic had caused a commotion on the bus, Mo Fan hurriedly left the bus and got off at the next stop. As Mo Fan walked toward the school, he couldn't calm down, he was worried. So amazing. So damn amazing. He remembered the sensations of lightning streaming down his arms. The mere thought of making people shit themselves with fear was still impressed on him. Is this the consummate power? Is this magic? It really is magic. Mo Fan could hear the rhythm of his heart. He thought about the fact that as he felt the power of the lightning flowing through him, he could also feel his spiritual world. Now he could fight. He didn't even think such power existed. Everyone on the bus looked at him in awe, and this pervert was on his knees with wet pants, just seeing his lightning bolts around his hands. This was a completely new and highly amusing experience for Mo Fang. Har har har, I learned how to use magic in just 1 semester. Not even Newbie can stop me now, har har har. The deadline for students to learn magic is 1 year, but Mo Fan learned it in almost 6 months. From the beginning to the end of the semester was 5 months. If you publicize this fact, both teachers and students, even other schools, will be amazed. That magical beast teacher bragged that his student, the genius Wang Mingkai, controls for stars, just like Newbie. Har har har, now I can use elemental magic. If Newbie finds out about this, he'll turn green with envy. The power I feel wanted to break out. I wonder what would happen if I let it out? God, the more I think, the more I like this idea. Calm down, take a deep breath, I can't laugh in the middle of the road like an idiot. I'm the great wizard now, I need to calm down. Mo Fan really wished he could release his magic one more time. However, after using magic on the bus, he felt slightly dizzy and empty. Is this the spiritual exhaustion the teacher was talking about? The boy asked himself. Normally, Mo Fan could practice for 2 hours a day and only feel spiritually exhausted afterwards. He trained for about 20 minutes while sitting on the bus, but he was already exhausted. Was it magic that affected him this way? Mo Fan thought it was caused by his incomplete spiritual meditation. He shouldn't have exhausted so much energy going from control to practice. If he formed the right spiritual meditation path, magic would not consume so much of his energy.